All right, so this is a short video about unit planners. As part of the IB program evaluation, we have to submit curriculum documentation. And what that means is, or one acceptable form of that, and I think the easiest, is a one unit planner for every diploma program course. And so this is an attempt to sort of explain what that looks like. This is a one pager here with some links that may be helpful. First of all, this is a link to the Approaches to Teaching and Learning official site for IB, which I will show you here. This is going to be helpful in the ATL part of the unit planner, but also notice there's tools over here, including unit planners. And I would use download for an initial template, this first one, DP Unit Planner Style 1. But notice also that there are a lot of other examples, of completed good examples in most subjects. So that's going to be invaluable, really. So you have that as a starting point. You also have this link to our old planners that we made 5 years ago in the last program evaluation. Some of this is obsolete, some is just kind of okay, but it still will provide, I think, a very good starting point. So we have two really good resources there. Now, I'm using my Chromebook, and when I try to pull up the template, it makes it look funny and it confuses me. So you might want to pull one up and look at it. And let's just kind of walk through the boxes of the unit planner. The first thing, before the transfer goals, you'll see, you'll put your name in, the course, the unit, that sort of thing. Importantly, though, it says DP assessment for unit. And for me, of course, I teach year one of an HL course in history, and all of my content relates to history paper 3. So that's what I would put in that box. Then I ask about transfer goals. Those are not specific content. Rather, they're the long-run result of what we expect the students to be able to do in the future with this information. So I might say for my Great Depression unit, students will develop historical and macroeconomic skills that will enable economic literacy as they navigate through their adult lives. Something really high level like that. And then it asks about content, skills, concepts, and you'll answer that really out of the guide. Just kind of rip language from there pertinent to this unit. It'll also ask about the learning process, lecture, Socratic seminar, small group work. You'll just check what you do. There's an other section. I'll check that and explain that my course is a flipped lecture course. It asks about your formative assessment and your summative assessment. And again, no problem there. You'll know what to do. It asks about differentiation. And, one option is extended learning. Well, I have one kid with a 504 that gets that. So I'll check that and very briefly explain that in the detail section. So then it comes down to ATL, which may be a little unfamiliar, approaches to learning section. And it talks about the 5 categories, which are thinking, social communication, self-management, and research skills. And this link to the ATL site at the top, that talks about those 5 areas. And a simple perusal of that, thinking about your unit, I think you'll come up very easily with a couple of these. Communication, perhaps your kids make a presentation in this unit. So that would be the connection there. And as for the detail, again, you'll look at the examples, but the detail usually is pretty limited. Then we come down to a page where it talks about language and learning. Frankly, this is sort of mysterious to me. It does mention, it does give a hyperlink on the template saying, use this guide. But this guide refers you simply back to that guide at the very top of the page to teaching and learning, which I didn't find anything about language there. I think what it's referring to is, because it lists some examples, acquisition of new learning through practice, scaffolding for new learning. I think really it's referring to things that we would do for ELL kids. And we don't have any kids currently receiving ELL services in the diploma program. We do in pre-IB. I have one kid who's out of ELL, but still monitoring, I guess I would make a note about that. But you might not really have anything in that section. Then it asks about the TOK connection. Now, as Anthony says, we're automatically doing this in our class because we're talking a lot about metacognition. How do we know what we know? Thinking about our thinking. But we want to be a little more explicit here. So I've given some information, just the shorthand of what TOK is. And there is a link here to the TOK guide. The guide is useful in helping develop knowledge questions, which could drive the TOK connection in your class. In fact, if you look at the areas of knowledge, there will be a lot of big idea knowledge questions for your subject, and I think those are very useful. I don't think we're looking for anything super elaborate. Look at the examples, but it was emphasized in my workshop that you need to have a plausible TOK connection for this to be an acceptable curriculum document. I don't think it's a big deal. If you have any questions about that, talk to me, or better, talk to Anthony. I'm not volunteering him. Melissa did, actually, but he would be very helpful. And then CAS connections, my first thought was, well, I don't really see that in history, but I don't know, you could. Certainly a fine arts course is going to have a CAS connection with creativity. Maybe activity. A science course might be doing something around recycling that would be a service connection. So just list those if they exist. And if you have any problems, please do not hesitate to contact me, contact Dale Wendell, and I will be glad to help you. I don't think this will be a huge thing, but we got to get it right. And I believe we've settled on Friday the 17th of November for our due date. That gives us about 4 weeks. That's the Friday before we leave for Thanksgiving break. So I'll end on that great note.